He posed, y'all. Happy New Year! Oh my God, it's been a minute since I posted something on just the Key and Mercy platform. And I've been trying to squeeze things in as I can. And I was listening to Pastor Jamal Bryant, and he was saying sometimes you just got to set one goal and go for that goal because of how the rest of your life is set up. Um, and I'm realizing I have so many goals. So let me just be real transparent with you all. I've been in therapy twice already this year. Today is the 11th, and I've already been in therapy twice. I've had two therapy sessions this year. My therapist did not know that I was trying to make sure that first week that I was in there because I needed to start the new year out with a release. And for those of you who are not familiar with therapy, I get it. There are a lot of families out here who put that notion on you that therapy is you telling a stranger your business and all this other stuff. I want you all to understand. When you talk to these people, they are licensed to listen to what is happening to you and to help you to deal with what you're going through mentally. Because a lot of times what's happening is that there are traumatic instances that we've endured and we don't know how to deal with them. And sometimes we don't know how to identify when something is a traumatic instance. So since probably like the last 5 years, 6 years, I've come to understand and grow in me being honest with me where there's a conflict at. Now you got to be grown. Hear what I'm saying? You got to be grown in order to be okay with identifying where a conflict comes up at, okay? This ain't for the weak, okay? Because it takes a lot out of me for me to say that hurt. I remember when I never dealt with that before and I need to. It takes a lot to be able to give that to yourself. I hope I'm making sense to somebody, because when we don't deal with conflict, when we don't want to identify it, it's still there. Internally, it's still there. And what helps you to understand that it was traumatic is you feel something when it seems familiar. When things you have not dealt with come up and it feels familiar, there's something that's triggered on the inside that brings that hurt back all over. Jesus. Woo, I'm going to try to get through this, y'all. Help me, Lord. Okay. So I've been in therapy twice already. And I've had to identify one of my biggest problems. And my therapist had to give this to me. Is she said, where are the like-minded people around you? And I had to think about it because my goals are big. I've set really high expectations for myself. It does not mean I'm surrounded around people that have a lot of goals. It does not mean I'm surrounded around people that have a clear path forward. It does not mean I'm surrounded around people that get up every day to be productive. So I had to really think about what she was saying to me, because where are the people that are pushing me to complete these goals? You all understand what I'm saying? So I had to take a really deep dive about some things. And one of the biggest things that I've had to look at is this 3330. Now I gave this to y'all in another video, but I need to come back to this because I needed to fully understand it. And what I gave you all, I didn't analyze it like this, but I want you all to hear me today, okay? I have 3 children. They have different daddies. So that's 3 children, 3 men. I've been engaged 3 times to these 3 men. I have 0 marriages. Now I want you all to understand something, because I've had a number of women that after they've gone through my YouTube channel have inboxed me and said certain things like, it just seems like nobody wants a woman that has multiple kids. I feel you. It just seems like I can't move forward. There's no help for me. I feel you. I can't make their fathers help me, and it's a lot because it's 3 of them. I completely understand. I got 3 girls, and at the end of the day, my 3 girls are part of 3 different generations. My kids, my oldest will be 26 this year. My other one, my middle daughter, is 20, and I have a whole 9-year-old running around here. They're in 3 different generations. They come with a lot of personality. Now, here's the thing. I cannot, ladies, hear me. I cannot make they daddies want to be in their life. I can't make they daddies act right. I can't make they daddies help. I cannot. I need for you all to understand something, because this has not been easy for me. I'm not gonna lie to you all. To a certain degree, me not being able to understand who I was allowing me to be chose by men that were also broken. Now I want to give y'all something, because I was watching Fantasia and her husband when they sat with Bishop T.D. Jakes for the Tory graduation. Y'all gotta Google it. It's on. I know it's on her husband's Instagram. Salute First is, I believe, who he is on Instagram. But one of the things that she said to Bishop was that both of them were in a marriage where they were trying to do something that they had never saw in their life. And sometimes brokenness can come together with brokenness, but what was at the helm of their brokenness and what they're tied to that's keeping them together was God. Both of them were godly, God-fearing, and God-seeking. And that's what kept it together. When I was younger, churches were a house of refuge for me. I ran there without fully understanding what it was that I was supposed to be seeking in a church. And as time went on, as men approached me, I allowed myself to be with these men whom I felt as though were giving me a love that I was seeking. Understand what I'm saying? The problem here is that me and these men were both broken in completely different ways, but God was not at the helm of our brokenness. So we didn't have God in common to come to when things got bad. We started developing bad habits between the two of us that were probably already there. But when you're in a relationship, you don't realize that you're exercising normalcy that's actually not normal when you're in a relationship, because all you're doing is perpetuating a cycle that you've been living in all your life. You might have grown up in a home and started to realize as an adult that this isn't even right. But you've been acting out in a way that made you feel as though it was. For me, I had to go into other people's homes and see how they were living for me to understand, okay, a lot of what I saw or a lot of what I went through when I was younger wasn't necessarily normal, but it was habitual in the environments that I grew up in. I bounced around a lot from house to house. I was never in the system, but I have a big family and I stayed with everybody. If you don't know why, you have to go back to my YouTube channel and follow the videos. I gave y'all all them nuggets, baby. I told all the tea about me. Trust me, it's not about my family. This walk was about me. And over the years, there really wasn't, I didn't have a daddy per se. So it was one of those things where I was looking for that authority figure in the men I was dating, which meant that to a certain degree, I was giving them control over me and my life and some of the decisions I was making. Understand what I'm saying? So I need for the women that are feeling how they feeling about having children with different men, never being married. It does not mean that you're a bad person, but there is a place that you need to be trying to get to within you where you forgive you first. Forgive you, because in your mind, all of this was a mistake. Your kids are not a mistake. I don't know who that was just for, but I had to get that to myself a long time ago, y'all, and it made me emotional. Your kids are not a mistake. They're here for a reason. The love that you lack, that you've been looking for in men, can come from those children if you yourself first identify what it is that you have not dealt with on the inside. I've never been a hugger, but as time went on, my kids required those hugs, which meant that now I do have to be somewhat nurturing and emotional, because when you grow up every day and your every day looks like a fight to survive every day, because that's what my generation went through. We grew up in the Nino Brown era, or at least that's how it was where I came from. So you growing up and crack is the number one drug on the streets. So survival was a version of what your productivity look. If you survived the day, if you made it through without nothing being stole, if you made it through and you was able to eat, if you made it through and the utilities didn't get cut off, if you made it through and there wasn't an eviction notice on the door, these were things that we were thankful for. I wasn't thankful if I got a pair of Jordans. I was thankful if my mama came back home and cooked, because half the time I didn't know where she was. Understand what I'm saying to you all today. Survival was productivity for me. I want you all to understand that just because you've made, and I'm talking to men and women, just because you have different parents that you're trying to co-parent with, because you got different kids with different women or men, it does not make you less valuable. Your self-worth starts on the inside. Nobody can give that. It's called self-worth for a reason. Nobody can give that to you. I want you all to understand that, okay? You have to start to love you despite anything that you may define as a mistake. If you define it as a mistake, you have to learn to forgive yourself first for it. And then you have to love yourself enough to get up every day and fight a good fight. And understand that even if all of this started with daddy issues, don't but one daddy really count. And I had to learn that for myself. There are going to be moments where you raising these kids is going to be challenging for you because it's just you. It's expensive and you can't make a man help you. You have to go to your one daddy that you know ain't never left you. And you have to give it all to him. You have to make yourself available to him and he will make himself available to you. I don't care how many children you've had out of wedlock, because that's what 3330 represents. The number of children, men, and engagements I've had and never been married. It does not make me less valuable to anybody. Because when I tell you to step out my door and people look at me as if there's absolutely nothing wrong with my life, it says I'm not wearing what I've been through. I want you all to understand that your children are not a mistake. Deal with what's on the inside. If you have to find a therapist, there's too many available at this point to help you to deal with the things that you've never dealt with before. If you're willing to open that can of worms, make sure you have a professional on the other side of it, because it is a lot, y'all, okay? I love you all. I will see you next video, and you all enjoy the new year.